Okay, Ken will join us shortly. I have a directive here from Mary Shaw. I'm supposed to read this in accordance with Governor Lamont's Executive Order 7B regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. This meeting will be held remotely with no in-person attendance. To view the live stream of this meeting, visit the Orange Board of Education website, www.oess.org. A pop-up message will appear with a link to view the meeting. So I'd like to call the Orange Board of Education meeting on Monday, May 18th, 2020 at 7:06. Matt, would you be able to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Matt, will you be able to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? His mic's not open.
Nice.
Go ahead, Matt. Can you hear me? All right, I'll do it instead of Matt. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
of the United
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mission statement. Mr. Cap, would you be kind enough to read the mission statement?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. The Orange Elementary School District recognizes that the education of each child is the shared responsibility of every member of the community. Our goal is to inspire and empower each student to achieve academic excellence, embrace social and individual responsibility, lead with integrity. We believe all individuals should be valued and treated with respect. Together, we will make a difference.
Thank you, Mr. Cap. Dr. Scarpetti, do we have any public participation this evening?
We do not.
Very well. We'll move on to Superintendent's Award, 6th grade student recognition. Dr. Scarpetti.
Thank you, Mr. Pro. So in this time where things happen to be not as normal as we planned them to be, we want to try to create some type of normalcy. And at this time of every year, we'd like to acknowledge our students for our Superintendent Recognition Award. We've asked our principals to join us, as you will see online here. And what we like to do as a criteria for this award is it's based on our leadership, service to the school, academic prowess relative to ability, and service to others in the community. So I believe our students are watching at home and their parents, so we like to welcome them to our meeting. We hope everything's going well and everyone's healthy, and we're excited for all the boys and girls that have been acknowledged. And I'd like to have Mr. Gray start off. You got to get your mic, Mr. Gray.
Thank you, Dr. Scarpetti. Before I begin, I just wanted to congratulate all of the recipients this evening and congratulate you on all of your efforts, being great citizens within your school community and the Orange community, as well as putting in the effort in the classroom. So I'd like to begin with our 6th graders here at Racebrook School. And I'll start with Olivia Barrett from Mrs. Trey's 6th grade classroom. Olivia Barrett shines every day as a caring, helpful, hardworking student. At Racebrook School, Olivia has served on student council for 3 years and has helped organize events for RBS to help the community. She also always signs up to help with bulletin boards after school, and her service to her community extends to working with her church youth group. She enjoys playing basketball, lacrosse, and most of all, soccer. She won 2nd place at the CFC Columbus Day tournament last fall and was also a soccer district champ. Olivia loves PE, art and math, as well as playing with her dog, eating, sleeping, and reading. She aspires to be a pro soccer player, teacher, or orthopedic doctor when she is older. Congratulations, Olivia. Our next recipient at Racebrook School is Sophie Cohen from Mr. Gottsagen's class. Sophie is a very determined individual who strives to better herself and those around her. Her positive outlook and involvement both inside and outside of school have instilled the very qualities and values that are embraced at Racebrook School. Sophie's expectations for herself, her eagerness, and her persistence to be involved have instilled the very civic characteristics that are necessary to being a true leader and help to make her a sympathetic and empathetic citizen in the community. Congratulations, Sophie. And last but not least, our final recipient at Racebrook School, Troy Vendencia from Mrs. Martino's classroom. Hardworking and intelligent are words to describe Troy Vendencia, but the most important word to describe him is kind. He is a boy who is very involved in his school community, serving on student council, volunteering at events like the RBS Monster Bash, and working daily as a bus monitor. He also spends his weekend as an altar server at Holy Infant Church. He has participated in band the last 3 years, and athletically, he participates in boxing, basketball, and soccer. Troy has received many awards, like the Art Award, Academic Awards, the Creativity, the Character, and even the Spanish Award over the years of Character Ed assemblies. Troy has a strong work ethic and has worked especially hard in the area of mathematics and has been participating in Johns Hopkins math courses. Congratulations, Troy. I'd like to turn it back over to Dr. Scarpetti.
Thanks, Mr. Gray. Up next is Mr. Beliciano, principal of Peck Place School.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to thank Dr. Scarpetti and the Board of Education for having me and giving me the opportunity to recognize 3 amazing students at my school. The first student I'd like to recognize is Eve Benjamin. Eve is a 6th grade student at Peck Place School. She is hardworking, motivated, and kind. She has been a part of the Student Ambassador Program, Panther Chorus, and Battle of the Books. She also was a bus monitor and a reading tutor. She has received the Work and Play Safely Award, the Practicing Kindness Award, and the Peck Place Student Spanish Award, Art Award, and Music Award. In the community, she has donated books, clothing, and toys to kids in need, has played her recorder for the elderly at nursing homes, and helped organize a food drive for the food pantry. Her favorite school subject is writing because she enjoys being creative. Her favorite things to do are dancing and tumbling, and when she grows up, she would like to be an author. Congratulations, Eve. The next student I'd like to recognize is Casey Tam. Casey's also a 6th grade student at Peck Place School. She is very caring, responsible, and a model student. She is part of the Recorder Club, Panther Chorus, and Ukulele Club. She received the perfect score in a piano competition and earned 2nd place in a math competition and a Chinese competition. She has performed the cello at the local senior center and has sang regularly with her choir at service. Casey's favorite subject is math because she finds it challenging. Her favorite hobby is singing, and she would like to become a musical professional. Congratulations, Casey. The last student I'd like to recognize is Roxana Ismail Behi. Roxana is a 6th grade student. She is very mature, hardworking, and very intelligent. In 5th grade, Roxana was a student ambassador. She has been part of the Ukulele Club, Strings, LEAP, Panther Chorus, 2nd grade buddy program, Art Helpers, 6th grade book club with Miss Fitzpatrick, and the 6th grade math group with Mrs. Lukianoff. Roxana had her watercolor artwork featured at the Case Memorial Library art exhibit and has received the Pause Striving for Success Award. She placed 2nd in the school-wide geography bee and was the spelling bee winner in her class. In her community, she has helped the senior citizens of Orange and has made donations to juvenile diabetes, military veterans, local food pantries, and breast cancer awareness. Her favorite school subject is art because she loves being creative. Her favorite hobby hobby is reading because she loves experiencing the imaginary worlds of fiction and learning new facts from nonfiction passages. When Roxana grows up, she wants to be a scientist or an interior designer. Congratulations to Roxana. Great job to all 3 Peck Place students. I miss you all.
Thank you, Mr. Biliciano. Up next
you.
from Turkey Hill is Dr. Denise Arterberry.
Thank you, Dr. Scarpetti. I am very excited to see all of our board members tonight. It's nice to see your faces. And it's even better and more positive that we're celebrating the amazing accomplishments of our students during a time like this. So it just makes me smile. So I want to start. Our first student at Turkey Hill that we are celebrating is Molly Basma. Molly is a bright, vivacious, and motivated 6th grade student in Mrs. Ziegler's class. At Turkey Hill School, Molly works as a safety patrol member and is a member of the Morning Broadcast Club. Molly is also a member of our school Music Makers Choir and even takes guitar and drum lessons outside of school in the hopes of starting her own band one day. Additionally, outside of school, Molly plays golf, lacrosse, and is an active member of the Amity Regional Aquatics Club. Molly has received the Student of the Month Award and the Turkey Titan Honor Roll Award for being respectful, responsible, and safe. Lastly, when Molly grows up, she plans to go to college and major in business in the hopes of starting her own store one day. She sees lots of travel and amazing adventures in her future as well. So congratulations to Molly. Our second student that we are honoring tonight from Turkey Hill is Avery Ketchian. Avery is a kind, bright, and friendly 6th grade student in Mr. Smolensky's class. At Turkey Hill, Avery participates in the student council to plan and run fundraisers for community organizations, as well as taking time out of her lunch to run our school store. Avery is a member of our school band and our Music Makers Choir. Outside of school, Avery plays volleyball and is an active member in her Girl Scout troop. Avery is an avid volunteer for local organizations. Some programs that she engages in are the Thanksgiving Basket Brigade, Relay for Life. She has organized a bake sale for cancer, Kindness Rock Project, and multiple food drives. Avery has received the Band Award, Turkey Titan Honor Roll Award, and the Student of the Month Award. When she is older, Avery plans to major in geology in college in the hopes of becoming a geologist. Congratulations, Avery. And our final student that we are honoring tonight from Turkey Hill is Aditi Siddhartha. Aditi is a studious, focused, and driven 6th grade student in Mrs. Ginsburg's class. At Turkey Hill School, Aditi is an active participant in the Turkey Hill Drama Club and helps to run the school store. Aditi also performs in our school orchestra and is a member of our Music Makers Choir. Outside of school, Aditi takes lessons in piano and classical Indian singing. Aditi also plays tennis and golf outside of school. I'd like to note that Aditi is quite the artist. She has won the Drama T-shirt design contest for 5 years in a row. Additionally, she won the yearbook cover design contest. Aditi was one of Turkey Hill School's Spelling Bee champions last year and participated in the district spelling bee. Lastly, Aditi has received the Turkey Titan Honor Award for being respectful, responsible, and safe. When Aditi grows up, she wants to be a pediatrician and would like to volunteer for the program of Doctors Without Borders. Congratulations, Aditi.
Again, I want to congratulate all our students. We're so very proud of you. Boys and girls, I do hope you're watching. If not, when you're able to watch this, this was a challenging to choose. We have excellent students that we're so very proud of. So you should be very proud of yourselves to have made the final candidacy of the students that we're acknowledging. But we wish you well. Again, we hope everything is going well at your homes, and we miss you greatly. But congratulations on this award to all of you. Mr. Kraut, without further ado, with your permission, may our principals leave the meeting if you see fit.
Certainly, that'd be fine with me. Stay safe, everybody. Okay, moving on to correspondence. We did not receive any correspondence for this meeting. So we will move on to the consent agenda. I will be looking for a motion to accept the items under the consent agenda. The items are the regular session meeting minutes from the April 27th, 2020 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the April 27th, 2020 Board of Education meeting?
So moved. Susan.
Betty and Susan. Very well. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Mary, just let me know when you're done.
Aye.
Keep your hands up, folks, if you could, till Mary says she sees everybody.
Is everybody present to the meeting?
I'm on audio.
I'm having hard.
Simon is here
Okay.
too.
Okay, Ken, I can see Betty.
All right, very
No.
good.
This is Ken Vitelli. Ken Vitelli has joined. Are you guys aware of that? Because
Okay,
I'm
thanks,
Ken
Ken.
Simon, I'm
So, all
not sure.
I'm all set.
right, so both
Okay.
Ken Ziman and Ken Vitelli have joined us.
Okay.
You need to call, you want me to call the vote again, Mary?
No, I got it.
You got it?
Unanimous, so we're good.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent's report? Very well. Superintendent's report, Scarpetti?
Thank you, Mr. Kraut. And welcome, board members. At last month's board meeting, I shared some of the statements we received regarding feedback on our distance learning. At that time, a month ago, we actually had the gamut of we're assigning too much work, we're assigning too less. We're meeting the needs of the students, we're not meeting the needs of the students. What I expressed to our community and had our principals reach out to our parents is for them to give us feedback. We want to hear it. No matter what it may be, we want to hear that feedback. And I'd like to thank all the parents who have reached out since that time and provided their thoughts, how we could continue to grow and providing support to our students and families. I'd like to especially thank our PTO and A presidents who met with me and our leadership team for their feedback and what people have gone to them as in their role as PTA or O presidents. One common theme that we have heard over and over is to have our teachers have more face time with our students. Dr. Russo will update the board in a moment regarding the accessibility the district has provided our teachers, not only to provide assignments, but instruction. Again, do not hesitate to contact your child's teacher to assist you or your child. And as stated in our policy, if need be, you're always welcome to follow up with the building principal. The school year is not over yet, and our parents' feedback is crucial to assist us in our growth and in learning as we continue to strive to reach the expectations we set in this new world of distance learning. We also received responses regarding the social emotional well-being of our students and families. Our principals have provided information to our families who may need supports for themselves or their children. We also have resources listed on our COVID-19 page on our website, which some parents didn't even know that we had. And if you go on to oess.org, there's a link right up top, and it goes to a variety of resources for you regarding communication, mental health needs that could be provided, other resources that are shared from the Connecticut State Department of Education. So please don't hesitate to go to our website. In addition, I've asked Mrs. Ito in her report to share an additional resource that will be provided to all our parents, and she'll talk about that in a moment. All these resources provided are important ones, and we will continue to share and search any others that may come available, knowing and understanding as time goes on that our families may have more challenges ahead of them. So please don't hesitate to reach out. As of late, the question I've been receiving the most frequently is, what is going to happen when we return back to school? I wish I could say to all of you watching and to our board members that we know exactly what will happen come fall, but at this time we do not know. We are waiting to hear, as all other districts are, from the governor and the Connecticut State Department of Education on specific guidelines and criteria on reopening schools. There are many thoughts on what schools may look like, and at this time, though, nothing has been solidified. Currently, there's only speculation. The state has provided guidelines to the business sector called Reopen Connecticut, which I'm sure they will be evaluating once this begins on May 20th. Along with the hope of a decrease of the amount of cases of COVID as time passes, this advisory group to the governor met last week, which I shared the recording of this meeting and will continue to listen to the updates with the Connecticut State Department of Education until they provide a final decision and made regarding with the district expectation when students are returning to school. One thing from looking at the reopen of Connecticut, the process that was provided on ct.gov, it is clear that the cleanliness and personal protection equipment will be a component for our schools. As discussed at our Building and Grounds Subcommittee meeting last week, I shared that we have purchased electrostatic sprayers for each of our buildings, 2,000 masks. We've also purchased gloves, and we are currently looking at hand sanitizer units. We want to get a jump on these purchases because we know that many of these products are back ordered, and we wanted to make sure they will be here before students return to school. At this time, we are still waiting for directions from the state regarding ESY, or extended school year. Information was expected Friday, though that has not been sent as of yet. And in addition, the state has given us guidance regarding report cards at this time and has recommended that we do not grade students because of the diverse dynamics that our families are dealing with. And so information will be going out to our parents, providing what comments we'll be providing to their students with regards to their learning that has occurred during this time. As we wait, schools are planning for the end of the school year. Principals have contacted their staff regarding the procedures to close their classrooms, and we will continue to update all our families in our newsletters. Thank you, Mr. Kraut.
Very well. Thank you, Dr. Scarpetti. Any questions for Dr. Scarpetti? Okay. Christine?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We did have a finance subcommittee meeting tonight where we gave an update and we reviewed monthly expenditures and the P&L for the month of April. There was nothing out of the ordinary to report. We do have, as we've discussed previously, a number of areas where with leaving school early in March, we have areas that we've had to spend money. So on Chromebooks, and as Dr. Scarpetti mentioned, masks, gloves, thermometers, hand sanitizing units, and things like that that we're buying to get prepared. We also have additional subsidy in the cafeteria, professional development expenses, IT software expenses for distance learning, and lots of additional legal costs. That said, net, we will be underspent, mainly being generated by areas like payroll and overtime, transportation, substitutes, interns, and utilities that have been, that are not being used at the schools that are empty. So that will help to move monies towards the non-lapsing account that we spoke of last time and that the board will speak of perhaps later this evening as we look for ways to finance the $450,000 that the Board of Finance has asked for in next year's budget. Overall, that's, I think, all I would report on that end. We also gave a brief update on the new financial system go live. The new financial system is Munis, and we have moved the date for that go live up to July 1st. So I think that was a good decision made with the town, whereby we'll be able to close out our current year under the old system and start fresh under the new system in July. The payroll system will still move over on September 1st. And I think that's it from my end for now.
Any
Bill?
questions for Christine?
No.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Betty.
yes, I just wanted to ask one thing. I think I heard, I can't remember if it was from you or Dr. Scarpetti, about Chromebooks that have been given out to students. I'm assuming that there's no cost there because the Chromebooks were already in the schools. Is that correct?
There was,
I'm sorry, Christine. There are costs. We actually bought additional ones. We didn't know what to expect, Mrs. Hadlock. We didn't know if all of our students would be needing computers or Chromebooks. As I shared at the Building and Grounds Subcommittee meeting and also just a moment ago, many things are on back order, and so we want to do our due diligence, and I think Chromebooks are one of these items so we did order that, so there are costs there.
Okay, all right. I just wondered. Thank you.
Anyone else for Christine?
Nope.
Okay. Very well. Evelyn? Great, there you are. Go ahead.
Evelyn, just have to release your mic.
That's right. So thank you, Mr. Kraut. Like Dr. Scarpetti, I too would like to thank the parents who have reached out to provide feedback, share their feelings, ask questions via emails, video conferences, and over the phone. Because that feedback, coupled with our own expectations regarding high quality distance learning, and we know we're not there yet, but we know that we will get there. But that feedback, our expectations, in addition to our newly acquired experiences, the bumps, the mistakes, the silver linings, the possibilities, and then our reflection as we move forward, all those pieces really inform better decision making moving forward. And so once again, as Dr. Scarpetti requested, we really appreciate that feedback. We encourage it. We look forward to it. One of the questions that we were asked frequently, and Dr. Scarpetti referred to this, that I would be speaking to this, is what can I expect? What is reasonable? And so we wanted to share those with you tonight. So as far as lessons go, and this part, like the instructional piece, so it's not just submitting lesson plans, but the actual instruction. That shift to instruction for a virtual environment is what is very challenging because you're not in the classroom and you're not there with everyone out of the context. And so you can expect that every lesson, all lessons should have some type of pre-recorded message, whether it's a screencast or a video recording that provides examples, the lesson target, some type of model, and whether assignments should be turned in or not. So everyone should be expecting that for every lesson. Then daily, on a daily basis, morning messages, greetings to children. And that could either be live or recorded video, a screencast. But what this would entail would be an outline of the day for students. And once again, a discussion about assignments and if there are any special directions for the grade level. The other thing that parents can expect daily are live video conferences, live interactions. Teachers have at least 3 to 4 office hours a day with at least one of those hours utilizing our video conferencing platform, like the face-to-face. And teachers can use that time with these kinds of things. So I'm going to give some examples. A live morning meeting, a social group, a book club, a small group instruction, general office hours, one-to-one student work. So those kinds of things. And so we are encouraging that. If that is not anyone's experience, please reach out to your teacher and or your principal. Dr. Scarpetti and I and Mrs. Ito, we're all here too. But really, those are the expectations. And we also want everyone to know that regardless of district planning, all teachers are able to differentiate for students. So if that piece about something's too hard or too easy or there's not enough, our teachers can differentiate for that. So, I hope I've hit the highlights, and if there are still any questions about these expectations, I know another question was about submitting work, that students are submitting work and they're not seeing the teacher feedback. We're working on a way to really address that well next year, but we have some pieces in place that teachers and principals can also share with families so that you make sure you get the feedback that you and your child deserve and require after submitting those assignments, because teachers are providing feedback. And so we want to make sure that students and families can access that. So while our way is not the most efficient at this time, we do have plans in place to really address that. But for now, we have, a workaround. And so, because teachers are spending a lot of time providing that feedback. Some children aren't accessing it, but we do have a way to get it. And we just want to make sure everybody receives that feedback because it's so critical. So I don't know if anybody has any questions.
This is Mary. I have a question. Just to clarify for all of the families.
Yes.
When you say, Dr. Russo, that every lesson should have some sort of video recording, is
Yes.
that a video recording from their teacher or one that is included with instructional content regarding the actual lesson?
That's a great question. So there could be, say, a Khan Academy video. However, it should include an explanation from the teacher with that Khan Academy. So for example, if the students are asked to take notes on a Khan Academy video, then we would expect teachers to have an explanation of what those notes look like. And a screencast to accompany, an orange screencast to accompany any other video. Is that clear?
That helps. Thank you.
Oh, and I think
Go ahead, Evelyn. I'm sorry.
I think Betty had a question.
Go ahead, Betty. Betty, you have to put your mic on.
Betty, if you just scroll over your picture, it'll pop
There
up.
it is.
Oh, there you go.
And my screen froze, so I missed some of that, and that's happened twice now. I don't know if anybody else has had that problem, so I've had to come back on. I think Mary helped me by asking that question, so you can move on.
Mr. Kraut, if I may just add, if there's not any other questions, I think when we began this process, and I do want to compliment the teachers that have been putting all their efforts and time of reaching these expectations, because what the environment was in a classroom versus now in the distance learning is quite different. And so just like the experience Mrs. Hallock just had, okay, she froze up. What do we do? How does this happen? And again, having those conversations. But one thing that we try to do our best, no matter if I'm speaking with a teacher, a parent, one of our principals, I put a phrase this: it's helpful to step out of the distance learning environment and see what we would do in a regular school setting. I want to say that again. It's helpful to step out of the distance learning environment and see what we would do in a regular school setting. Because I think some parents are maybe afraid to reach out to a teacher or the principal because they're saying, well, I realize that this is the situation we're in, and school's almost over. School's not over in our minds. And when I share what I shared earlier with regards to not knowing what the guidelines or expectations of the state will have on us, we could be living in this situation again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for us to continually to build our muscles, to have those expectations, to support our teachers and listen to them and provide the professional learning that they've asked for, clips for their camera, that if that's what they needed to videotape themselves, and again, listening to our parents. So I think it's an important piece that not only for our parents to hear this, but again, at times imagine what would you do in the school setting? Reach out to the teacher. Some teachers said, I didn't realize, I didn't hear from them. I thought everything was okay. So please, for those parents that are watching, we do, again, as we have in the past, encourage you to reach out. Again, we're here too. But we ask you to start off with that teacher and again, your building principal in order to assist as we continue to finish the end of the school year, but also what we may have to contend with in the fall.
Excuse me, Mr. Kraut, I was asked to include one more clarification to Mary's question.
Sure.
That orange screencast would be from an orange teacher in the district on the grade level team. So it may not be the student's actual classroom teacher, but there will be an orange teacher providing that screencast and additional instruction on what to do with that video. So thank you for the opportunity to share that.
Susan, did you have a question? Mary, did you?
No,
Mary,
I
what do you-
didn't, sir.
Okay, anyone else for Evelyn?
Nope.
Okay, very well. Mary Ito, please.
Good evening, everyone. As mentioned at the last meeting, I have been reaching out to all of the families whose children receive special education services. And as that need became more concerning due to the school closure for the remainder of the school year. So as a leadership team, we really felt that phone call, a similar phone call to every family in the district was important. So outside of the regular classroom teacher, our school social worker, our child's associate, our principals, and myself, our primary focus of those phone calls is to identify ways to support families around the social emotional needs of the children and the families. In response to that, and into response to them and our own anticipated needs, we have decided to contract with a company called Peace at Home Parenting Solution. And Vince or Dr. Scarpetti will be sending out a letter to our families introducing this program, as well as we will post on our website the information that will provide the families and any community member access to this. So basically, Peace at Home Parenting Solution is a resource provided to the Orange community, not just our academic families, but anyone in the Orange community. So it's a town-wide subscription to all Peace at Home Parenting live, interactive, online classes, on-demand recorded classes, and we also have a limited number of individual support services that we can provide families as referred to the program by either our school psychologist or a social worker or our principals. So that will be more of a need by need basis, but the platform itself is accessible to everyone in the town of Orange. That's what the subscription is for. So that, again, that will be posted on our website. Dr. Scarpetti will send out the letter introducing that program with all of the information to help them access that. And also, as mentioned at our last meeting, as far as extended school year goes, again, we're waiting for information, guidance from the State Department of Ed, the Health Department, and our own district, who has to make a decision that would be most responsible for all our students and our staff. So that information is still pending. And that's it.
And just so the board knows, that will also be posted as Mrs. Ito shared. This is a town-wide, so we will also put that on the town website too.
Thank you. It's great. Bill's muted. I think he's trying to talk.
Yeah, you're correct. I'm sorry. Any questions for Mary?
Nope.
Okay, move on to board business.
Actually, Bill, I have
Go
a
ahead, Kim.
question.
Go ahead.
So I'm just curious, what are you doing about PPTs?
We are holding those on a case-by-case basis. Every family who has a child with an annual review or a family who requests a meeting has a discussion with the team to make a decision as to whether that meeting can be held in a meaningful way to advance the child's program forward. So we've been holding meetings regularly since after April break. The initial attempt was to sort of allow teachers the chance to get their learning platforms up and running. So all of our focus was directly on the student learning. But after April break, we went full out towards discussing holding PPTs with families and holding them. So we have been holding them.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else for Mary? Okay, we'll move on to board business. Budget update, Dr. Scarpetti.
Thank you, Mr. Crow. At last month's meeting, I shared with the entire board in our community that our budget was reduced by $450,000. The board gave a motion to direct me to find those funds within our budget for next year and looking at even our budget this year, how we can meet the expectation of the town of reducing it to $450,000. As Ms. Koch shared, because of the due diligence and the guidance to the board of our funds that were given to us this year, we were able to have some favorability with our funds this year that had to do with payroll. In addition, looking at situations that we dealt with this year, we'll be combining 2 positions in central office, the director of facilities and the business manager, which will save money. And for next year, we would have to not hire those 2 new teachers that we discussed last month. And lastly, it was the savings due to the pandemic, what we're dealing with. Ms. Koch mentioned transportation savings that we're saving this year, overtime, the payroll that I just mentioned, and combining those 2 positions. And what were the other few that I missed, Ms. Koch, with saving money? It had to do with substitute teachers, right? Your mic is off. I think I just missed substitute teachers.
Yeah.
Utilities. Utilities was the other piece.
Yep.
And so, as what was shared at last month's meeting, it was a very difficult task. Thank goodness that we dealt with our current budget the way we did. And again, due to the board's diligence this year and their guidance to me, we were able to have a favorability this year. However, because of what we presented, unfortunately, the positions that we asked for, we will no longer be able to sustain, and we'll be able to meet the $450,000 cut doing those items that we discussed.
Any questions for Dr. Scarpetti? Very well.
Hi.
I'm sorry, did somebody say something? Charles, go ahead. Go ahead,
No,
Charles.
so, if I understand, there really hasn't been a major change since the last time we discussed that the 2 teaching positions we all unanimously agreed on votes are cut. Is that correct?
Charles, could you repeat it? There was a little reverb going back and forth.
Well, if my understanding is correct, there really hasn't been any change since last month when we discussed this. That, as I feared last month, the 2 positions that were originally part of our budget and originally unanimously agreed upon by the board, those are now gone.
Those positions are gone right now. We sustained our current staff. That was the motion that the board gave of sustaining the current staff that we have, but unfortunately, those 2 additional positions, in order to meet the $450,000, we won't be able to sustain and hire those 2 teachers.
Okay, so I guess, I appreciate all the measures that you took to try and minimize the impact of this unprecedented and draconian cut from the board. And I find it very regrettable that the scheduling of the Board of Finance and the public meeting on the budget is being held simultaneous to this meeting. So I'm not quite sure how that happened, but it's very frustrating not to be able to speak to the Board of Finance about tonight as we're occupied here with our primary task. When you look at the overall town budget, public safety is up to 3.1%. Library is at 4.75. Park and Rec pool alone, 6.1% increase. And so I think I'm preaching to the choir here on the board, but what a sad thing when these two positions that we had all unanimously agreed on are now officially cut. I say that with deep regret, and I also am frustrated that these meetings were scheduled simultaneously. I don't understand how that could have happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Anyone else for Dr. Scarpetti?
What is the
Go ahead,
current,
Betty.
what is the current kindergarten enrollment now?
Mrs. Hadlock, it's currently 151 students.
Oh, so it is only a gain of 1 since our last meeting.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And for the entire board members, as I shared, we had a meeting, the following meeting after our last month's board meeting, where I met with the leadership team and Mrs. Ito, along with the schools that would be impacted with those not hiring those 2 new teachers. We are working to provide the supports that are needed for those specific students in those classes.
Anyone else? At this time, I'd like to talk to the board about the July meeting, which typically we, in the past couple of years, have canceled due to a lack of business. Due to the virus, we should be getting a fair amount of information in July from the state as to where we're to go with anything from how we teach, when the kids come back, class sizes, everything. So at this point, I'm going to say that there will be a meeting in July. For those of you that may have already made plans for vacation or whatnot, could you possibly contact Mary Shaw and make her aware of those dates? And as we get closer to July, if we have to move our regular board meeting to accommodate as many board members as we can for any potential discussions, we will do it at that point in time. Okay? Appreciate your cooperation, in there, guys. All right, we'll move on to standing committees. Finance and Operation. Ms. Ritchie?
Yes,
There you are.
hi. Thank you. The Finance Subcommittee did meet prior to this meeting. And as Mrs. Koch mentioned, expenditures were all in line. We have seen a reduction in many line items. I'm really appreciative of the fact that Mrs. Koch, Dr. Scarpetti, and the entire leadership team has really done a great job to try to minimize the impact to students. So I just wanted to say thank you first. Second, I know Christine mentioned that Munis is going to be going live with the beginning of our new fiscal year, which I think is great. And 21st Century is doing well also. However, due to the COVID pandemic, 21st Century did refund parents money from the last day of school till the end of the year. As a result, they will be negative for this year. However, they do have retained earnings. So it will not be coming out of any Board of Ed funds or any public dollars. It comes out of their own budget. And so it's basically obviously disappointing that they weren't able to finish out the year, but they will be made whole. And then the other piece is that they are very generously offering to make a donation to the Port in Place to support the playgrounds. Mrs. Lasto is indicating that she had 2 primary goals, helping with special needs children, both indoors and outdoors. And she would like to make a donation for some of the Port in Place ground cover. And so more to come on that. That's all.
Any questions for Susan?
No.
Betty? No?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Personnel policy, Ms. Sparrow?
So Superintendent Scarpetti and I will be meeting this week, most likely, to prioritize policies from the audit to disseminate to members of the committee. In addition, we're going to, just try to brainstorm some of the issues that we anticipate becoming issues with everything that's going on now and could happen next year, to see if we can get a head start on some of the policies that we might need to look at because of our current situation.
Mhm. Okay. Kim, do you anticipate having a full personnel policy committee meeting virtually sometime before the end of June?
Definitely. And one of the things that Dr. Scarpetti and I talked about is that, we're even going to look at if we can be more flexible about timing, that it may not need to be an evening kind of meeting if people are available for the day during the day. So we'll throw out some possible times to the committee. But yes, definitely, as soon as we sort of prioritize these and have a plan for the audit policies and any other policies we want to look at, then we'll set that meeting and send everything out to committee members with some notice.
Thank you.
Anyone else for Kim? Okay. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, everyone. I hope you and your families are well. Buildings and Grounds met on May 12th. We met with Dr. Scarpetti, who provided an overview of the many different things that are taking place while the buildings are closed. Racebrook installed vinyl flooring, had some kitchen maintenance, office carpeting, exterior lighting problems are being addressed with the cooperation of the town. They anticipate some cafeteria fans being installed in May and some additional painting. Mariel Tracy had some removal of orange player sets and clearing up some space, some additional vinyl flooring, painting and cleaning. Peck Place also had a deep cleaning, painting took place. Dr. Scarpetti already mentioned that he proactively sought out PPE and the specifically masks, gloves, and sprayers. We had a discussion also about Racebrook. Building and Grounds started a building tour before the pandemic in February, where we learned from Principal Gray that a student or multiple students would be attending and in need of ADA compliant bathrooms. While there are some in the building, there is a concern about having enough. We learned, as Mr. Principal Gray joined the committee, that those students are not coming for an additional year. But I believe there was some support for finding out exactly what our costs would be and beginning the process of that. And we are awaiting word whether this could be considered if there is a town bond. So we will be hopefully finding out whether that's a possibility in the next month. And I will report back to the general board next month about the status of the ADA bathrooms at Racebrook. We also had a extended discussion about the 6th grade wing HVAC at Racebrook. That's in progress. We believe it may be a sensor issue, but it was a little disheartening to hear that the principal often had to start his day with a HVAC issue. So we hope to have an update, and hopefully that is either solved or we can help address that. Our next tentative meetings will be Monday, June 8th, Monday, July 13th, and Monday, August 10th. And that's my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And if I may, Mr. Crowd, I don't know if you have anything to say about the process with the bond oversight, but Mrs. Ito has been dealing with those students that Mr. Gray has mentioned. And we do have bathrooms there that are ADA compliant. And that's for any students that may have an issue right now, any teachers, quite honestly, that may have an issue for next year. Unfortunately, not all our bathrooms are, but I know Mrs. Ito has talked with Mr. Gray about how to meet the needs of our students that will be arriving there in 2 years, and 21, 22. Is that correct, Mrs. Ito? They're arriving at Racebrook. So just a little over a year, that they will have accessibility in case there's not a bond with the town.
Very good. Any other questions? Okay. Curriculum, Ken?
This gives me a little understanding of what some of our children are going through at this time, because this is the best we can do, but I find it very disheartening. We're planning on a meeting at some point this month and discussing how in this situation we can increase student-teacher interaction. This is going to be especially important because at this time we don't know what to expect at the beginning or later in our school year. There's just a university that said that they were going to start the school year, and at Thanksgiving they were going to stop having these students in class, and they were going to go to distance learning. Anyway, all of this will be pursuant to instructions from the State Board of Ed and the governor. That's all I got.
Any questions for Mr. Zimet? Oh, go ahead, Ken. You have something?
No, I just wanted to make sure you could hear that okay.
Yes, we heard you. Everyone heard Ken, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for Ken? Very well. We'll move on to ACES. Ms. Riccio?
Thank you, Chairman Kraut. So ACES had our meeting last Thursday, the May 14th. And the director, Tom Danahy, is actually part of the Reopen Committee. He's part of the RESC group for education. And he was explaining some of the many things they were considering as they were going through. And there's still a lot of unanswered questions. And so more to come, obviously, if I hear anything, I will let you guys know. If, something happens in the interim, we'll all know. ACES does have a Reopen Committee with 4 subgroups, which is interesting, and trying to figure out for the magnet schools, for some of the services they provide, for the magnet schools, a lot of different things to consider, given that they have more than just, one school. In addition, I wanted to mention that they do project a break even or possibly even a slight surplus financially. Their focus is obviously on making sure students receive the highest quality education and services to students and families, all while making sure they're keeping cognizant that they support all of us in all the districts that are part of ACES, and making sure that they're providing fair and equitable solutions for all concerned. They also continue to watch their expenses, but other than that, everything is going well. Any questions?
No. Any questions for Susan?
No.
Okay, very well.
Thank you.
Well, that brings us to the end of the meeting. It's good to see you all. I really miss you guys. I'd like to see you in person, but maybe next month it'll eventually happen. So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. I can't see
I'll
Ken.
make the motion.
Feel his
Absolutely.
hand on my shoulder.
Absolutely.
Second by Susan.
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 I believe that's unanimous, Mary. Am I correct? You have that, Mary? I'm sure Mary has it. Okay, so I will adjourn tonight's meeting at 8:05.
Thank you, everyone.